Hello guys, welcome to Elite Rounders Mental Game Corner. Today we discuss about trying too hard and how it can actually sabotage your progress in poker. Process and progress, both. So let's get into it, and I hope this will help someone. This was always a problem for me, to be honest. So overtrying happens especially when we try to stretch our skills. In a situation you're playing very big buy-in, first of all, a couple things happen. The game is not that different. Even if you jump from $50 to $109, the game is still the same. But if we are over trying, we start to level ourselves. These guys are so good. You start to think about oh, these players are super good. I need to play on higher level. And that's when you're going to make a mistake. Because yes, the players are a bit better on 109 than $55, for example, online games. But there's not that significant difference. But if you start to level every hand, and I promise most of these guys are still playing a lot of tables, they don't know who you are, they're probably not paying that much focus, to be honest. Most likely that's the case. Especially if there's some grinders who are playing a lot of tables. So again, we start to just overestimate the competition, basically. You just you give way too much credit for everybody. Oh, he must be so good. This guy must be so good. First of all, I think it's always good to question how good your villain is. Don't be blinded by how much they've won or what they've done. I think that's always the one thing. You should base your decisions what they've done the past couple of years or how they're playing now. There are some regulars who should not be playing these games anymore. Because the times has changed, but they have bankroll, I guess. There are regulars like that, and so don't base your decisions based on what they've done in the past, and don't give them too much credit before you actually know that they're good. When you see that somebody's good, okay, react, change your game. But yeah, so trying too hard can also happen when you're playing under bankrolled or you're trying to build bankroll very fast. That's why, again, poker is not a good game to force it in a way, because let's say you have some bankroll challenge. That's why they fail sometimes, because it is still based on mathematics. Let's say the average field is 1,000, you play 1,000 tournaments, there's always chance of loss, I guess. Okay, depending on the edge, maybe there's not that much, but that's just the example. So it's mathematically, there's always the chance of risk of ruin, or mathematically you will sometimes win way too much than what you're supposed to win. Sometimes you actually lose, which should not happen almost never, 1 out of 1,000 or something. So it's poker is a very ungrateful game, and it's good to remember that not always how you're playing is gonna reflect how much you're making. So when you're playing under bankrolled, it's very important that you're not trying too hard, because then you will try to force those decisions, try to force you are trying to win every tournament, and that's gonna be negative, because again, poker tournaments have ICM. We need to consider the other places too. If you're always just trying to win, you're probably making big money mistakes in the long run. So playing under bankroll is really bad, but of course, maybe sometimes in life you're in a situation where you just need the money and you have to do it, but rather not, right? And this can also happen playing under bankroll, I guess, if you're taking a shot. This might come out in different way. If you're taking big shot, the big tournament, again, you give people way too much credit, most likely, and you overthink everything. Oh, he's bluffing me here, he's value betting here, he's whatever. I think that can happen too. So let's move on to the next one. We are playing over our head. Yes, trying too hard can also come from that if you're actually playing against somebody who's way too good. If they're just way higher level than you are, then you will feel just frustrated, and you can try so hard and you probably just end up tilting, to be honest. If somebody's way better than you, you will just feel getting owned like crazy, and that hurts. And sometimes it happens, especially heads up is a game where you will feel like this, especially when the other guy is just hitting everything and you hit nothing. This is very common in heads up, and you can feel like somebody just owned you basically. I mean, yeah, heads up can be very crucial game, but especially heads up you can feel this. Um, so basically, if you feel like you're just being like outplayed, you just try too hard, and it can come out as a negative, trying to bluff him in every spot, or just in general, just overthinking like, you know, everything. Okay, so this goes trying too hard to have results. So this is another thing. Sometimes you feel like I need to have this amount every month. This month, every month I need to have 5K, let's say, or $2,000 profit. But again, poker is not fair game. It's most of the games you play poker, especially if you play tournaments, it's not going to be fair result. The result might be anything. It could be plus 20,000, it could be minus 5,000, it could be plus 10,000, whatever. So again, the results, don't try to aim. I think it's important to aim for some result, but like don't keep it like I need to make it every month, otherwise I'm a failure. You know, that's not gonna affect positively your game, because sometimes you dodge those big final tables, or you finish always 8th place, which pays you $500 to win is 10K or something. So that one tournament could actually make or break your month, basically. So that's why don't be too clingy on these results, basically. We just can't look at it like so short term. I think that's a very common mistake. So let's look at this. Again, and why is it so bad to try so hard? Well, because like most of the tournaments, this is personally like I'm not the biggest fan of deep stack tournaments, because I just find them boring. So then I usually start playing. I'm not actually trying too hard. I guess you could say try too hard. You just want to finish the tournament in a way. But you know, again, if you're playing some deep stack tournament and you try to finish it faster if you stack everybody, well, it's not gonna happen. Like if everybody has 50 to 100 big blinds, you're not gonna stack them other than like ace king versus jacks or something, or you know, minimum ace king versus tens, okay, or ace queen suited maybe. But like you're not gonna stack people just out of nowhere. You know, if people have a lot of stack, it's gonna take some time. So you need to have patience. If you're not patient enough, you're just gonna stack yourself. So it's very important we don't try too hard to get results again. So, and yeah, so poker is marathon or sprint. You can't win the tournament in the first hand, or you can't win a deep stack tournament in 5 hands. You know, you need to have patience. You need to pick your spots, right? Patience usually pays off, especially in deep stack tournaments, because there is probably 1 or 2 guys who are trying to push it a little bit too much. They try to win every hand. Again, patience. Yeah. So again, a little bit what we talk about when we try to speed things up too much, it usually comes with a cost. So of course, sometimes it pays off because like people just blind out basically. In tournaments, if you just shove every time small edges, yes, it can work, but it can be very costly too, you know. But in general, we need patience to survive in this game. And poker is all about finding the good spots, like we talked about earlier. So whatever tournament it is, like if it's some big deep stack tournament, again, you need to find the good spots. Like, don't fight for every hand. Poker is not a game where you want to fight for every hand. Like, sometimes your cards are just too bad. Maybe sometimes you have a read and you can make some exceptional play, or even deviate from your game strategy, basically, if you have some read. But most of the time, we should play closer to game theory and just make disciplined folds, you know, and not mess around with chunk hands, you know. But yeah, poker has a lot of good spots, so just wait for those. Have some patience. And the next slide, we actually have this stress level. I just took it from Google quickly. But basically, this shows like if our stress level, this is also comes from trying too hard. Let's say you're playing against somebody really, really good. So you're probably in the high area, 8, 9, 10. So again, if you're playing like at the maximum stress level, it's very terrible feeling, because you feel all the stress, and the stress level is like way of your, like, you can't handle it, let's just say. It's for too much money, too competent villain, or, well, too much money might be enough, because, like, let's say if I would play against billionaire, even if I would be better player than the billionaire, I might crack under the pressure because it's too much money for me. If we pay for $50,000, he probably plays more comfort zone, so he probably plays more optimal than I do, because I wouldn't want to take the risk what he will take. So again, monetary, there could be some edges for sure from the comfort zone. So this is how some experienced players, let's say somebody who has already won 500k in their career, like biggest score, or 1 million, they will have an edge late in the tournament if the prize pool is very big, because they are used to it. Their stress level is probably not as high as yours. So sometimes, like, experience really helps you, actually. So I think it can give you big edge late in the tournaments. So again, you probably want to have more like stress level somewhere in the moderate area, especially if you're playing longer. And the low stress level, I don't think is actually that good. It means low stress level usually is something like you're playing, first of all, games you don't really care about. You have no stress, right? You dump a buy-in, you don't care. So whenever you have tournaments you don't even care about, probably not a game you should even play. I mean, if your aim is to improve, I mean, if it's just to make money, I guess. But, like, to be honest, like, even then, if the stress level is very low, you don't care at all, I'm not even sure how much money you are making from these tournaments, because usually you kind of end up just whatevering it. Let's call it whatevering, because, like, if you have a flip, you usually take it. That's what happens to me sometimes when I play tournament. I do not care at all. So the commitment is like kind of low level. So again, it's like Lionel Messi playing our Finnish 6th division team, probably wouldn't care at all, right? He would score a couple goals and then probably leave, right? So again, you want to find that moderate area where you can actually improve, and it's a little bit stressful, but it's not overwhelming. It's not too much for your bankroll. It's not too much stress. So I think that's the area where you improve. The high area is only for certain periods, like short periods, which can be beneficial, I think. I guess this would be like super big final table for you, monetary, or there's a very competent villains or something. But again, if the money, I think the biggest stress still comes from the money, to be honest, because if the money doesn't matter to you, and even then you have good villains, it doesn't really matter that much. It's kind of like, okay, I didn't win it, but it wasn't for that much money, so whatever. So I think money usually comes with the biggest stress levels. But yeah, I just want to point out with this that you should not feel like you're super stressed all the time. It's more like you should care. Like, I think the comfort zone is kind of like there, that you care about losing. If you don't care about losing, you're playing too small stakes for sure. If you don't care about losing at all. So I think it's always like the losses should hurt you a bit, but they should not bankrupt you either. Like emotionally or, well, physically, you could say. So definitely, like, if you see that, you have 10k and you bought in for today for 10,000, 10k buy-ins, and you have 10k bankroll, that's stress level 10, so don't do that. You can probably go like 1,000 if you want to risk, but even that's a fairly big risk, I think. But that's how it should be, I think. So don't take too big risk. It's just gonna show us as a trying too hard as well. So you will try to win maybe pots, you over level yourself, you think everybody's good, yada yada. But yeah, in general, it's not good to try to win a lottery ticket in poker. Again, it's a long-term thing. It's like guy who wins the main event, let's say 10 million, and then they start playing. Previously, they were playing like some kind of small stakes, like let's say $1,000 live tournaments, and they happen to win the main event for 10 million. They start playing high rollers, and you don't actually have to brick that many high rollers to lose your money. So it's like, don't think it's good to like just try to run your luck, because the luck usually ends at some point. That's the bad thing about luck, you know. It always ends at some point, and then you will crash and burn basically. So, but yeah, that's just bankroll management tips, I guess. But yeah, so I think that's enough for trying too hard. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope it fixes your issues with this. But yeah, thank you for watching though.